For me, the two are the best of all time, and Gunther is so good that I can get past the size of him. I'm to the defense. I will say, it feels like most can, the crowd and such. But as you've alluded to it there, Matty, I'll go to you, Gareth. I know it's something that you struggle with this new slimlined swimsuit model, Gunther.
Yeah, you said you liked the match structure there of the big guy beating down the little guy, but you must have been watching a different match to me because I didn't see Sami Zayn beating Walter down at all. Like throughout this
It
match,
did pop into my head, during the
the other-
match. I had that exact thought. I was like, what you said, I saw you say it on the Discord. Like, Sami Zayn looks bigger than Gunther. Like, there was a point where they were stood next to each other. Like, he's thicker than him, and I think he's taller than him too.
He's miles thick. Sami, honestly, watch this match again. Watch how much Sami Zayn spends of this match crouching down. Like, he never stands up straight once in this match. Never. Like, he's crouching at all times. And like, you look at Gunther here, and this is why I just have so much difficulty buying into it, is just because he's basically Crash Holly, isn't he? Like, he's a guy who wrestles or tries to wrestle like he's a big guy, but he's not actually a big guy. He's a little guy. And then the whole premise of him as a character is that he's like this big bully, and the commentators are all going on about talking about him like he's some kind of monster, and his move set is all big man, giant move set stuff. But he's not, is he? He's Zack Sabre Jr. He looks exactly the same as Zack these days. Like, he's there in his little swimming trunks with his little skinny, flimsy physique. And it just totally just takes me out of the match, especially when you're coming from the background of us, where we have seen Walter. Yeah. We've seen him all over the place, whether it's the Indies or even going into like the NXT UK stuff and things like that. It's something that we've known. My best live match I've ever seen in my life is a Walter match and things like that. I love Walter. I love him. Gunther is just this fucking skinny guy with he's like a bobblehead kind of thing, like one of them things that, is just like on a desk. It looks like a cruiserweight, honestly. Bring back the Cruiserweight Classic and throw him in it. Because if he is going to be this size, then he needs to change his entire character and moveset completely, because it's just it's totally, utterly illogical. It doesn't fit the frame. It doesn't fit the character at all. And this is where I just cannot get myself lost into this match, where it's like he's doing the right things. He's the match structure, everything about it, the beatdown and everything like that. That's right for Walter, but not for Gunther. And the whole thing of Sami Zayn being scared about him and worried that he can't beat him and things like that. Again, that's right for Walter, but it's not for Gunther at all. Why would you be scared of this guy who's smaller than you, who's skinnier than you? Like, you wouldn't be, you shouldn't be. And like, it still was the best match on the night, and it still was the best. It still was in my top 20 matches of WrestleMania weekend. But 3.5 stars, like for me, like it just didn't work on that character level and like look and feel level to me. And there's just some stuff that I hated here. Like I fucking hated the bit at the end. Like it really annoyed me where Sami sort of fired up and then Helluva kicked Gunther as he was climbing the top rope, but the timing was all off, so there was no reason for him to be climbing the top rope at that point. Like it just looked stupid, and then he lost the match on the back of it, and there was no reason for it to happen. Like not in Gunther's top 200 matches.
That's way too strong. That's not true. That's just incorrect. Have we seen 200 matches? Like, we shouldn't overstate things. Because I think that the pushback at it, though, is like, I felt like that at first. I feel like I've gotten used to it now. I think because, not to borrow a phrase from Matty, but because it is a work, I think they work as if Gunther is the big guy in the match. And I think the vast majority of people are able to lose themselves in it based on the reaction to the match, based on the opinion you see from most people. Like, I understand where you're coming from. And I think for me, I wish Gunther didn't do the splash to draw attention to it.
That's the only one I agree with.
Like the little bits in the match where, like you say, Sami is almost crouching. There is a work to it, and there is an element of like smoke and mirrors to it. I wish they wouldn't step over that line and draw attention to it. But
so he needs to change his work.
No, because like this, opinion is unique to you, I think, and there's not. I think I understand if you can't get past it, but I don't think we should take that lesson and say, well, that's broadly true of everyone, because it's not. I think you look at the crowd reaction to this, you look at the way people talk of Gunther, you look at the way people react to these matches, regardless of what you're saying, which is based in truth. I think it still works. So I don't think the lesson is at all that they should change things. For me, I'd go a whole star higher on it, and that's fine. Agree to disagree, but that's where I'd push back. I think I don't know if there's wholesale lessons to take. Maybe there's a lesson to take that you should get on the cheeseburgers again. I'll back you up on that. But yeah, I think it works regardless, and that's because these guys are so good.
But some of these, so it's all about opinions, and that's a good. And I can see that.
As Gareth hangs up off the call, just go fuck this.
You know, and he is presented that way, and I can't get past it because I've seen him at his biggest and I've seen him at his best, kind of thing. And like, you know, that's, and I know yous have, kind of thing, but for me, that's just something that's just cemented in my brain. If some guy who turned up on SmackDown, on Dynamite on Wednesday, who was 6 foot tall and 200 pounds, was presented as being Lance Archer, I wouldn't be able to buy it, kind of thing. But that's to me, that's what I look at, and I'm like, they're trying to present him like he's Lance Archer, or they're trying or something, and he's just not. Like, you know, he's just not this. And I can't get past that. Like, it ruins the work for me. It ruins the bullying side of it. I'm like, why are you letting him do that to you? You're bigger than him. Like, I can't. That's the way my brain breaks. But I totally get that I'm in the minority, and people seem to love it. But I don't.
Yeah, like I say, I don't even. It's definitely something I hear myself saying a couple of years ago. And yeah, maybe with time I've just gotten used to it and kind of gotten past it. But yeah, I can't change your mind. You're the decision on it.
It's going to be weird when Cody's bigger than him when they're going up against it.
There is that. But yeah, we're in agreement that he should get on the sausage rolls again. Somebody should have a word.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure he's much healthier.
Ginny needs to watch Mean Girls and basically give him those protein bars, making him thinking that they're going to help him out, and in fact he's going to put on loads of weight. I don't know if you remember that. Like that's the kind of ploy that.
Put on weight when they get into a new relationship, don't they? I know it's been a few years.
Comfort eating.
But like the opposite happened to him, didn't it? Yeah. He didn't get on the Dominoes every Friday and Saturday night. He got into CrossFit.
Gareth,
she's quite heavily pregnant as well, so you'd imagine he's staying in on a weekend. You'd think, I can't be arsed cooking now.
I've just got to say one thing, Gareth. I'm not familiar with your dog's name, mate, but we've got to thank the dog because you've been throwing grenades in, mate, every time you've been on the air. Like, this dog's coming to the life. I love it. And the chat, and I'm living for it, mate. It's honesty and fucking brutality, and I fucking love it. Long may it continue.
Yeah, and I mean it as well. I'm not just turning the volume up for fucking.
No,
for
you're not.
the sake of it.
That's brilliant.
This is love it.
Love it.
Personally, I would split the difference with you guys, and I'd probably go 4 stars. For me, it was like a kind of very clear match of the night, and there were things about it that I liked because their work is in the main like. But
that
really
wasn't on
good.
at the same time, was it?
Exactly, and they always they'd given them time. It was the Sharon at his wife stuff is the stuff that I personally had an issue with, and I think there is like that's the kind of stuff we go that makes him look dumb because he looks like he's easily distracted by someone who is a non-entity in the match. There is not a chance his wife's jumping over that top like rail to do like some sort of Elizabeth style distraction for him, is it? That's not happening. Like she's taking.
The way Gareth's going on, she probably could take Gunther, couldn't she? So, you know, he's not had anymore. You know, anyone can take Gunther at this point.
But, I mean, I think in terms of his character, there's a simple, subtle change they could do where he's a wrestling machine. And he just does quite simple moves very, very well, but with pace and with a relentlessness. And I think that is the kind of subtle shift you do to having someone becoming from like a monster to a machine, and I think that's the kind of stuff they could get away with, and they might want to look at that, like particularly if they're going to be pushing them into the main event scene. But like, I don't know, on a night where there wasn't much to kind of get particularly excited about from a wrestling point of view, this did feel like somewhat like a bit of this was like by far and away I thought the best thing that was on there.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, there's absolute truth to what Gareth's saying. Like, it's the degree to which I think it has an effect on the overall is where we disagree. Got to call a spade a spade. Those things are true. I mean, does it affect you, Matty, your enjoyment of watching Gunther?
No, not really, because I think I'm with you, Ben, at the fact of like I was never as I come on to Walter late, didn't I, when I used to go to the shows and that, so I wasn't aware of him.
Match.
No, you were aware of him before me, is my point, and was well aware of him. And did anyone think? I look at it the fact of, did anyone think he would be protected and presented this way on the WWE for this long? And but it's not just that, he's held up to the bag, and he's had, you know, all right, he's had a couple of letdowns like the Drew McIntyre match, but he's had the Sheamus match, the freeway at WrestleMania. He had the bangers with Chad Gable on Raw. That's got to be, even if Gable knocks Gunther off now, they've got to have a long match at some point to pay that off. So he's been having great matches, and they are protecting well, and that's why I see what I see him as. But we to like say like someone shouldn't look after themselves at the same time though. But at the same time, he has gone a bit too far. He looked well a couple of months ago, but he's continuing to go down that line.
I thought when Vince left, he'd be like, "Okay, I'm back on the park. I'm gonna go to the pub again, have a few more pints." Like I did think like maybe it was a thing that got him over with Vince, and then he would kind of revert back.
But I agree with Gareth. But
I'll stop watching The Machinist for 5 minutes, and I'll just get back on the
but I agree with Gareth as well, of that, like, you know, where it's a new audience that's seeing him like get presented. You've seen him for that long, that will at the show. It's an odd one. It's an in the middle one for me, and I hate being that guy that sits on the fence or is in the middle. But there's a case for both ways. But he's over. He's been protected, and let's see what happens next. It's the obvious one is him and Cody down the line, isn't it? Especially in Berlin and stuff with all the European events. So exactly, yeah. You can heat him up even more for that. So, and as Platt said in the chat, he got a good match out of The Miz in 2024, maybe early 2024. So there you go, says it all.
Underdog Miz, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's night one. Unless anyone's got anything else on the main event, obviously we talked.